You will live with a divine unity so that when I open any drawer of your life, I will know who you are. And yet, when I opened the economic drawer of my life, I didn't like who I was. I always wanted to be someone who furthered the idea of love in the world. Not in a dogmatic way. I was raised in a Catholic tradition, and that Jesus cat was always powerful to me. And then I saw Gandhi, and that was powerful to me. What they were saying and doing, and Martin Luther King, was powerful to me. It had a power. And yet, when I looked at my life and I opened that economic drawer, it didn't make sense. It didn't make sense why I was standing on top of a heap saying, I'm the best, I'm the most valuable. I thought we were all one. I thought we were in this together. I'm the most valuable. Pay me more than I need. So you can see why the system why the economy is what it is. They want you to think it was a mortgage crisis. They want you to think a bunch of dumb people got together and got mortgages that they shouldn't have gotten, or some greedy people from the banks got together and decided to take advantage of those people. And that's not why it's faulty. It's faulty because it is rotten at the roots. Nothing can grow forever, yet every day you turn on the TV, what is the measurement of the success of the economy? Is it growing? Is it growing? And the logic, as you saw in the movie, I connected to cancer because I do believe it's a cancerous mentality. I'll give you one more example, and let's take a couple more questions. Elizabeth Sahtouris is an evolutionary biologist, and she woke me up to the economic model in our body. So the human body is wonderful for comparisons, and I won't go into others, but if we do economy in our body the way we do it in the world, let's do it real quick. The heart and the lungs are the most valuable, right? They purify the blood, they distribute oxygen to the body. So if we make them the owners, like the director of a movie, let's make them the owners of all the product that goes into the body. They would then decide the price of blood, right? And they would distribute it according to who could pay and who couldn't pay in the body. And you see what happens. Parts of the body die. So that's our economic model right now, and we're asleep. And then people will say, but we have no way to motivate people if it's not an economic incentive. Oh, really? The incentive of creating community, of creativity, of watching an idea, a sense of purpose. That's not motivation enough to save the life of a child who goes to St. Jude Children's Research Hospital is not enough. The profit motive is the only motive. We simply must open up this idea of profitability. It is profitable to birth a community, to birth an idea into the world. That is profitable. So there is a kind of malaise that we're beginning to wake up to. And you young people, you know this. You sense it. I teach college. You sense it and you know it, and you get a chance to do it differently. And again, not out of guilt. I of all people should have the guilt model since I was raised Catholic, but not out of guilt, but out of what is right and good and true. You know, nobody in your generation or my generation did what they did. I believe very few, because they were bad people. They thought that was the way. I got a 17,000 square foot spread because I thought that was the way. That's what success looked like. That was it. I was taught that, I walked that, and it had virtually no fruits at all. So, all right, I've talked enough. Let's get another question.
I actually have one question, which is,
what's my problem?
You referred to they. If we are trying to become us, who is they?
What do you mean they? When I say they?
You said they are trying to teach you this. They are trying to teach you product.
They is a projection of us. You're right. There is no they. It is the message that is out there is a reflection of us. So what message we are putting out there and responding to is this message of separation, of get things, of get stuff, of accumulation. So the they, that's why the power of the film is this. It's I am, which can become we are. But thank you. You pointed out my dualism. Got another one over here.
Hi, thank you. It's a fabulous film. Tell me something. How are you going to walk this information around the world, particularly with respect to the third world?
How are we going to walk this information in the world? Well, we have a release plan. We have a distribution deal. We're going to be theatrically released in February. And we are going to rely on folks like you to help us by going on IamTheDoc.com and talking to your friends and Facebooking and Twittering and all that good stuff. We have very little marketing dollars. The other films I've done that many of you have seen have been marketed with budgets of $30 to $50 million. And we have virtually no marketing money. It's coming from me, but it's up to you guys. If word spreads on the movie, we'll do well. But this is my life for now. This is my life. This is what we do. We talk about this. We want to start a conversation, and I do believe in, as Margot Mead did, in a small group of people, committed group of people to change things. You know, the anti-slavery movement started with about 12 people. It's a much smaller group than this. So the power is right here. How we all walk it and talk it. And before I think we're going to take a couple more, but I want to introduce the other filmmakers. It's Nicole Pritchett, one of our associate producers, and Jackie's in the color in the back. Jackie and Nick, thank you guys. If there's something you didn't like in the movie, you can talk about it.
I have a question here on the left.
I have a very practical question. The project began off a bicycle. Do you think it's really a good idea to get back on your bicycle and drive to work?
I told you, there's some brain cells not quite. Yeah, no, you're right. I think you're channeling my dad right now, because he was like, "What are you doing? You're on a bike again? What are you crazy?" Yeah, I'm back on the bike. As a matter of fact, Jackie and I did about a 30-mile ride today through the lovely beauty around here.
Your dad, the interview with your dad was fabulous in this movie, and obviously your dad walked the walk, but you couldn't get him to believe that this change was coming. Do you think that belief is a part of making this change come?
Well, yeah, of course. My dad was a part of it, but he didn't even see that he was it. He didn't think it was possible, and he did it. That's how deep the malaise is. You look at somebody who built, I said, "Dad, is it possible that people would do this? Would they walk their principles in their business life?" And he said, "Not a chance." And he did it. St. Jude Children's Research Hospital makes $750 million a year, which is a beautiful economic model because they pay their doctors well. They could make more money somewhere else, but they're getting rich by treating kids with cancer and they're curing cancer. So this is it's a beautiful economic model. Children are taken care of. They have no worries about their medical needs. Families are taken care of. They don't ask questions. Do you have an ability to pay? They say, "Are you sick?" And they help them. And my dad couldn't see that he did it. But it's because it's so deeply rooted. No, but son, you don't understand. That's a charity, and people have to run businesses. Well, let's take the word charity off it. You run a hell of a business. That makes $750 million a year. It's sustainable. It works. It's the leading pediatric cancer research institute in the world. It's now in, I think, 30 or 40 countries, turning around mortality rates overnight. That's an awesome business. Forget the word charity. But see, we get locked in these definitions, you know? And it's a house of smoke and mirrors. Just see beyond it. As Emerson said, see the facts nearer. So somebody in this room or another room is going to start Allmart. Not Walmart, Allmart. And Allmart is going to do exactly what Walmart does, although more consciously. Meaning they're not going to exploit human labor to lower the price. But they're going to do Allmart where the concentration of wealth doesn't just happen in one family, it stays in the community. So when a community shops, they're shopping and they know that they're helping their schools. They know that they're helping the beautification of their community, to help the arts. Someone's going to start Arbucks instead of Starbucks, and keep these resources in local communities. And then they're going to be fabulously wealthy because it's a true kind of wealth. It's going to happen. It's going to happen, or I truly believe, as I believe Einstein felt, we're not going to make it. Because a cancerous logic cannot survive. It can't survive. And until we wake up to the idea of cooperation, which, by the way, I won't go into the analogy that Elizabeth Satorsk gave me. It is the history of cells itself, who started out competitive and aggressive and learned cooperation and created us out of that cooperation. So we are now at that crossroad, I believe, that we're making this choice between this competitiveness, which is a part of us. We just simply have to shift to the winner belongs to spoils. Compete, wonderful, you can jump the highest, fantastic. I elevate you as the highest jumper, not as a role model. That's in each of us. There is no they there. You create the athlete and the athletic celebrity. There's even a celebrity culture in this film festival that I would love to see broken down, so that a truer celebrity emerges. A truer form of celebrity emerges. And that's up to you. When you buy a magazine that promotes a certain type of cultural idolatry, that's up to you. The shows you watch, you ask for. What you talk about with your friends, the energy, it's up to you.
Got another one over here. To me, it's me, Tom.
Wait, one second. Are there any students? You guys must have some thoughts and questions. So I'd love to, but let me take this one. But let's at least get a couple students in.
To me, one of the great spiritual symbols is the laughing Buddha, and the laughing Buddha teaches us to laugh at our material aspirations and our ridiculous goals. How do you feel this insight that you've gained in the process of making this film is going to impact the kind of films that you might make in the future?
Well, look, I simply grew from this process, so I'm a different artist, and it will be a part of what I do. I can't tell you exactly how that flesh will take form, how it will manifest, but I'm different. So what you will see from me will be different. And I love the laughing Buddha because I think laughter is key. I just think laughter is sacred and it's holy. The Quran says, he who makes his companions laugh deserves paradise, and I think there's a reason. I think that whatever created us wants us to celebrate. One of my favorite sayings is this poem by Hafiz. Let me see if I can remember it. Every child has known God, not the God of names, not the God of don'ts, but the God who only knows 4 words: come dance with me. And part of that celebration is laughter. And we've evolved laughter. We know immediately from a smile on someone's face that a situation is safe. You know, all this evidence of cooperation developing in our species is there before us, but we don't look at it. Jeremy Rifkin wrote an amazing book called The Empathetic Civilization. The story that you are getting is not the story of the human species. As you look at the human species, as Rumi said, we are being led along an evolving course. Women in this country had very few rights just 100 years ago. Very few rights. We were enslaving African Americans here in this country just legally, just 150 plus years ago. We are being led along an evolving course. You guys will be nice to each other today, kind to each other today. None of that will make the news. You'll hold doors for each other, you'll thank each other, you'll hug each other. None of it will make the news. If one of you slaps a person, that will make the news. And you will think that's the story. We got to craft a society around the slapper. We got to guard ourselves from the slapper, everybody, because the slapper is fear. It's that fear. It's that fear. Really, the mystical side of this is probably too heavy. It's light, but heavy for this moment is death. Death is not the enemy, folks. It's not the enemy. And every mystic knew it. Every mystic said, the mystic said, there's one thing you know about death. There's one thing I can tell you about death. It's perfectly safe. Which is the opposite of what you're told. And that is where I think a kind of, I wouldn't call it faith, because faith is a belief in that which is unseen. But it is a seeing through to the reality of things, that you are energy. You are already it. You're trying to be something, but you are already something. I wish I could show you when you are lonely or in darkness the astonishing light of your own being. That's who you are. And our society says, no, who are you kids going to be? It's no, who are you? Show me who you are and walk that with courage. Walk that boldly. That's awesome. That's what we should be telling our kids. But we tell them, you got to be something. Who are you going to be? You already are. We need to awaken who you are. And then you walk that, it's different.